All right, we are here with Dave Anderson. He is in location. We couldn't get him in the studio today, but he's joining us from the front lines in Vietnam. It's 1968. He went over for the Tet Offensive, and he is risking his life to be here with us today. So, how you doing, Dave?
Yeah, I look pretty good for 103 years old.
No, you're only 78. You're good.
Okay, got it.
Okay. We are here with Dave. He is in location right now. He's sitting on the beach in Fiji. His feet are in the water as we are sitting here. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks for
toes in the sand.
taking some time from your vacation. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, boys. Anything for you too.
Okay, let's do one more.
All right, guys. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dave, really appreciate you coming in. I know you're spending most of your summer this year.
Gay Pride Parade?
No, he's actually in the Amazonian.
Oh, he's the Amazon.
Building orphanages for impoverished kids. So thanks for taking some time. I know you have just a ton of deals going on and a ton of orphanages you're building. But
yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Happy to help. That is pretty cool, Dave. Appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, you're welcome. Charity for all.
Okay. All right. Anyways, here we go.
That was good.
Yeah, we're good. See ya. Live, coming to you live from our studio here in Canyon Lake, California.
Right.
Dave Anderson.
Okay. TV's Dave Anderson.
All right.
Right.
We are going to, what is that? We say? MV?
TV's Dave Anderson.
TV's.
We're on TV.
Yeah, Dave Anderson. I love that. Okay. Those of us that don't know, or those of you that don't know Dave, he was formerly a lead singer in a rock and roll band.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this true?
For sure true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the band called?
That was the wildest year and a half of my life.
Did you actually play instruments or just sing?
No, I sang. If that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Okay.
How did you bring that up?
Because that's my favorite part. That's the only reason why you joined. We allowed you to join Link is because you were in a rock and roll band.
Looked way back into the and said, "Look at this guy."
Okay, so this is going to be fun facts with Dave Anderson. Because this is like what we are all about here. We want to have like-minded individuals here at Link, and you are one of the select few that we have. Right.
Yeah.
So I want to go back in history, in time. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Dave Anderson when he is in high school. What kind of kid were you in high school?
Let's see. I attended most of the time.
Yeah.
And even though I was fairly inland bound, I guess you'd call it.
Inland bound. Little shout out to Moreno Valley.
Yeah. I went to, it was Sunnymead back then, but I went to Moreno Valley High School.
Yeah. Quality establishment.
Yeah. And, we went surfing quite a bit during school. And figure out how to pass and graduate and all the important stuff and not knowing what I was going to do with my future.
Well, that ended up into becoming a massively involved windsurfer.
Yes, I was.
Tell us about that story.
That ran my life.
Yeah, for years.
So it's funny. I'll make it short but interesting. Being inland, I couldn't go surfing all the time. But I was living right next to a lake and learned about this sport called windsurfing. I'm like, okay, half the name's cool. Let's check it out. And it took over my life for a couple of decades. I traveled all over up and down Baja, California coast, Maui a few times a year, and just as much as I could, I was involved as hardcore as I could be in that sport without becoming professional. Nor was I on the professional level skill-wise. But
yeah, and it's like the surfboard where you're like holding on and has like the big sail.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. You just said that out loud.
Yeah. You did. You said it out loud. Yeah.
For everybody who's listening, if you don't know what windsurfing is like me, that's
you just stand on a board with a big sail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
I'm hoping you all knew what that meant. If not,
I would guess
keep it to yourself.
50% of people had
no idea.
What we'll do
is we'll have the green.
Oh, yeah, the windsurfer.
Yeah. Do you have any videos back in the day?
Yeah, but they're probably VHS. That, right?
So what year was that, or years?
What year did I learn? Probably 1985, and I was very active up until 2010.
So that was like back in the body glove days and like the purple and pink and
and neon.
This says a lot about you.
Anything you could have. Right?
Real men wear pink.
Right. Is this a real story?
It's a real story. He was big in the real story.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It sounds unreal, right?
Yeah.
But
and then, fun fact, too. So I didn't know this until later on in our lives, but windsurfing brought up, I grew up with the Pritchards,
yes.
Matt and Kevin, and Dave taught them how to windsurf, and they are professional windsurfers down in Maui.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I taught them.
Well,
but I was working at a windsurfing shop when Mike and Judy and Kevin and Matt, when they were little kids, would come in and hey, Kevin and Matt, if you're watching.
All the people watching.
And they became world champions for many years.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're rad.
And they were from Canyon Lake.
Yep.
Interesting.
So full circle. How did we spend so much time on that subject?
Was the singer like in a band also a true story?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll move on. We'll move on from that part. But in talking to Dave, and we're talking about what we're going to talk about, stories come up, right? And so we want to hear the evolution of Dave and kind of get his background, because I think in our industry, the image, the brand is as important as anything else, right? And so when you're coming to working with clients, you want to work with clients that are like-minded, right? And kind of the same world. And so Dave came from the auto world, right? He owned his own business for 30-ish years.
We can correct that. I mean, the company was in business for 30-something years.
Yeah.
I started it in 1990 and ultimately sold it in 2011.
Right. So
I was an agent.
But the beginning of this story is kind of fun in that starting out in your garage, it's like every cool story starts, right? You're painting jet skis, right?
Yeah. My parents were pretty cool. I learned how to get overspray off mom's car pretty quick and all that good stuff. But I was. So
you went from painting jet skis to and your niche, I guess, was the European, from VW to Porsche. Tell us about your prior career.
Yeah, so started out with my first car, which was an old Volkswagen. They were very cool in the mid-'80s, and I had grew a real passion for those, which turned into a small-time business out of my parents' house, you would call it, which turned into, I want to start my own business. Mm-hmm. And in 1990, as a young man, I started my own company thinking, man, if I make it 6 months, I am styling. And there it was, basically 20 years later, I sold the company. It carried on many years after that. And it was really cool when I could turn a hobby into a business. Mm-hmm. Now, turning a hobby into a business didn't always equate to financial gain.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyhow, the old story, if you can just enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day of your life. Mm-hmm. And that truly was, and more or less is still, words that I live by.
So when you got out of that, when you exited that business, you were looking for a business that didn't have employees. You were looking for a business that you can kind of control your own destiny, and you had options.
That's right.
So how did you get into real estate?
Yeah. So you said it, Craig. So going through my company, I had a lot of inventory, a lot of overhead, a lot of expenses, and several employees. And I said, I want my next venture, whatever it might be. Yeah. No employees, no overhead. Okay. Because even for a small company, we were spending $500,000 a year on advertising. This is a few decades ago. So again, a small company spending a lot of money for a big image.
Yeah.
Again, we used to joke around saying it's all flash, no cash, but that's what we did. And it was successful in its own right. So sold my company and literally went on a couple of job interviews in the industry, automotive industry. And then I'll segue into my involvement with real estate. But during my automotive career, I was fortunate enough to acquire a couple rental properties. Mm-hmm. So I had already ventured into real estate as a landlord, and I was, experiencing the financial gain from that. Mm-hmm. And I'd also built a couple of spec homes in Lake Havasu, what I still enjoy today. And this was real interesting because fast forward to those spec homes, now I'm about to experience my first drop on the market before I'm professionally involved.
Yeah.
Because my last spec home, which I'll just tell you, there was a formula that I had where you could easily make $100,000. And this is back in, the mid-2000s, and that was great money. I'm like, shit, I'll do this a couple times a year, and I'm freaking set for life. Okay. Well, all of a sudden it took about 8-10 months of construction to build these homes. So my $100,000 turned into 75, turned into 60, turned into 30, turned into, oh shit, this is real. I've never experienced this before. Yeah. This is what everybody's talking about, a crash, right? Well, it wasn't really a crash yet. It was an adjustment, is what my agent kept telling me. Okay, it's an adjustment.
Massive adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden, when I'm looking at a negative, that's a crash to me.
What year was this?
Yeah, this would have been right about 08, 09.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, remember, that marketplace way more volatile than ours.
Yeah.
Second
home.
Yeah. Yep. People were giving it away. Okay. And anyways, so here we are. I'm introduced to the real estate market. I'm about to lose my ass in the real estate market, and I'm not even in the real estate market as a professional yet.
Yeah.
But what do I decide to do?
Get into real estate.
I'm going to become a real estate agent.
Naturally.
You know why, Kobe? Because I can do it better.
Yeah.
All these guys messed up the market. No, half joking, but no, literally back to my next venture was going to be no employees, no inventory, less liability. I had a lot of exposure with my previous company for a number of different reasons. And I just wasn't comfortable with that anymore. Just my decision. Mm-hmm. Nothing really happened. I just didn't want that. I went to bed every night stressed out, worried.
Yeah.
I had a lot of mouths that I had to feed.
Yeah.
And, just didn't want to go there for the second part of my life. Chose real estate. I had already been a well-disciplined, self-employed person.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you have to be when you're in real estate. Okay. You can't just become your own boss and be lazy. Okay. We all know what that'll do. But it's just hilarious because I jumped in the real estate market. And by the time I got my license, which was, let's just say, January of 2010, well, Craig, you were living it brutally probably by then.
By then, I was on the upswing because we were doing investments.
Okay, so you had already learned.
I've already lost my ass, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But rough time for the average real estate agent.
Yeah.
Okay. The average real estate agent was getting a job at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, the above average real estate agent was forced to get a job back then.
Sure.
So I get my license. I go sit at the desk, and I'm doing what I can. And it's ignorance is truly bliss when you don't know any better. And I'm seeing these agents dropping like flies behind me, and I'm thinking, well, I'm doing okay because I was very fortunate. Within a few months, I had my first deal, and they were all small back then because we were selling houses for 100, 150.
Yeah.
250 was a pretty big deal, believe it or not. And we can talk about that later because I'd like to talk about investments.
Yeah, because now that's going to be a down payment.
Yeah, no, seriously. But I'm getting these little deals. I'm selling mobile homes, man, and I'm just happy to have something to keep me busy. Rentals, mobile homes. Got connected somehow with a few investors because, again, these guys who, if you had cash, you were buying 2, 3, 4, 5 properties at a time.
Yeah.
Around here, there were some of these shacks that were going for 60, 80 grand. Okay. So if you insulated yourself enough and you still had a few $100,000, you were walking into the local real estate shop, connecting with an agent, me, and let's go do this. Okay. So my career decision was obviously a little scary in such a volatile market, but I also knew that learning in that market was a wise move because what I had been told and learned was it hadn't been that hard in a long time.
Ever. And that was the biggest crash I think we've ever had. Yeah.
Absolutely, Craig. And a lot of these agents didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
Well, man, if I'm learning in this, I can just go up from here. Okay. So, I really learned a lot the hard way. But again, the beauty of it was I didn't know any better. If I came in 5 years previous, it was too easy.
Yeah.
You're just getting these commission checks thrown at you from what I hear. And it may be exaggerating, but
you're not.
Right.
Yeah, you were.
Even like during post-COVID, kind of that weird aftermarket, we were seeing new agents come in the LA markets. It's like, my buddy's friend's cousin is an agent, and let me throw a for sale sign, and I have 20 offers all over asking price and touting, I'm the best agent ever. And it's like, you could put a for sale sign in the front yard and sell a house.
Exactly.
Obviously very different now, but probably similar timing of the market.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would equate your 2010 run with about now. In that you have to be a good agent to survive, and you have to do the things that equate to business. And I know we joke about what we say versus what we do, but in your mind, what does it take to be successful in this industry?
Well, let's circle back real quick because I agree with you. There are some similarities to, let's say, 2010. The main difference I see is back then we had a lot of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
It may have all been bank owned.
Sure. Yeah.
We had a lot of inventory, and we're way down from where we were locally.
100%. Yeah.
Back then. Yeah. Like I always say, a famous thing. Let's say back then, I'm going to use whole numbers off memory. Canyon Lake had, let's just say, 135 active homes
Or more. They probably had more over 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. At some times, maybe 2. Well, right now we're hovering in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
less than that, because they're equating Quail Valley into that. But 60 to 80, right? Yeah,
right.
It's low.
And then post-COVID, we were down in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be when we got to 99, we were like, what are we going to do? There's nothing left to sell. So anyways, back to what does an agent need to do? That is, do you guys have a week and a half?
Yeah, I mean that's the big push that we're trying to do right now, because
right. What does an agent need to do?
Yeah, and it's different for everybody.
Absolutely.
Right, and so go ahead.
So here's the beauty of real estate. Back to me, sitting by the pool, not my own pool yet, sitting by the community pool.
Yeah.
Hadn't reached that level yet. No, seriously. I literally was sitting by the community pool. I lived in Canyon Lake when I was transitioning from automotive to whatever's next. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, okay, real estate's it. I'm going for it. And this time I want to just be a regular real estate agent. I want to blend in. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be in the highlight and the spotlight and the BS that goes with it. I just want to do a good job for my clients, make a living, and live life, okay? And that's more or less what I've done, and I'm very happy with my decision. So back to what does somebody need to do in real estate is the beauty is there's something for everybody. And, part of Craig, you and my relationship, I think, was we got together and we were like-minded in more ways than one. And all the way down the simplicity of, the way we dress, the way we talk to people. There's very little BS the way we operate. And I think that's very important in any business. But too often people just want to put on this front, this facade of somebody they think they're supposed to be per industry they're following. And that's short-lived. Okay, if you're not yourself all the time, that's going to run out. Now, of course, what we should give is the best version of ourselves.
Yep.
Okay, but in real estate, I feel the most successful people long-term have been themselves, whatever that looks like. You could be wearing board shorts and a tank top or a three-piece suit. And we all know people that fit both those arenas that have been very successful. It's all about taking care of your client. Okay. The best agent out there isn't the one moving the most product all the time. It's the one who takes care of their clients and realizes that is the most important part of the job. And that's how you stay strong in the industry and stay in the industry, period. It's not about being selfish. It's not about the paycheck. And this sounds really dumb when I talk to people, and I still do it today. It's almost like the commission check is coincidental to me. As dumb as this might sound.
No, Craig says that all the time.
Okay, no.
Work like you're working for free, and if you get a check at the end, it's a bonus.
Yeah, okay. And again, why Craig and I get along, I truly feel that way. I don't even look at my commission amount. Yeah, you have an idea what it is. Of course, we're money motivated.
Yeah.
We have to put macaroni and cheese on the table. But the truth of the matter, if you're only out there for this dollar and that dollar, it won't last. It may last longer for some people than others, but you'll spin out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, you have to stick to the principle of doing the best job you can for your client. And that's how you survive. Be yourself, be truthful, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And there is a client for everybody.
I think kind of off topic, but around the taking care of your client, sometimes that means telling a client not to sell a house or not to buy a house.
Absolutely.
We have clients that are debating listing versus renting or whatnot. And sometimes it takes going to them and saying, you should not sell this house. You should hold it for the rest of your life. And I will never get a commission check out of it. But that's the best decision for you versus we've seen other agents in the past that go, oh no, like the market's going to crash. You should sell it now, like before it crashes, or you need to sell it and go buy something better. But yeah, even if it costs losing commissions, and I'm sure you've done it, I'm sure you've done it
all the time,
giving up commissions to take care of the client or give them the right advice instead of being money hungry, like you were saying.
Yeah. And then giving credit where credit is due. You started out with Steve Sellers over at Prudential, and he back to his own style.
Right.
so we're in Canyon Lake, and so it's a pretty tight knit community, vacation lifestyle. And him and Brent Stackhouse, and they had their own style, their own vibe. And Steve started. He had his following because he was one of the first agents out here, but was very true to that as well. You know, I mean, I know we in our families have different disagreements, whatnot here and there, but that was his style. He was very good at that, right? So
that's what I loved about it. Actually, is how he was himself. And you're right. Steve introduced me. He actually tried to talk me out of becoming a real estate agent. Even though he was lifelong, he knew how hard it was. Okay. And I said, tough shit. I'm getting my license and I'm going to be working out of your office. And I did. And I love the guy. He was a great mentor. Okay. Because he was himself.
True.
Okay? So I'm glad you brought up Steve. And he was always himself. He dressed the way he felt comfortable. He was very professional and he took care of his clients. Okay. Back to that full circle. It doesn't matter what you look like to a point. It just matters how are you going to treat these people today, tomorrow, the next day.
When you were getting started, kind of going back to the early days, how did you get those first deals? You said you had some mobile homes here, some rentals here. Like for a new agent, I think a lot of what's true in 2010 is going to be true today. And obviously you have Meta and you have Google and you have all these different lead gen strategies, but we always talk about like your sphere of influence, your repeat business. How did you kind of build that starting out, and where were your first deals from?
Okay, great question. And you're right, Kobe. Some of the principles will remain. Your sphere of influence will always remain. Okay, friends, family, all that good stuff. However, what has changed rapidly, to answer your question, how did I get my first deals? Yeah, sure, a little bit of friends and family, but we used to have what's called the up desk. We all said it. And floor time. It was the agent physically sitting in the real estate office, and people would walk in the door. This is pre or early days of social media. It wasn't the tool it is now. And everybody got their business that way. Okay.
Interesting.
And again, the seasoned agents didn't really want to sit floor time, didn't need to sit floor time. I was the new guy, so I let everybody know, hey, I'm happy to sit floor time. This is my new full-time job. I'm available, 8 to 6 or whatever it takes. That is how I was introduced to some clients that I actually still work with today, almost 16 years later. Some of these investors and people like that were literally, they walked in the door of the real estate shop and said, I'm looking to buy property in Canyon Lake. Twist into that, being an agent in Canyon Lake, you're also a tour guide. We're in a private gated community. You can't get in unless you know somebody or get a pass from somebody, and they don't just give out passes to come in here. All the real estate offices would advertise lake access. Here you go. And guess what? My window was right by one of those decals by the main road, and they'd come in and see me, and I would give them a tour. And no kidding, 90% of the people who I gave a tour to really loved Canyon Lake, what it had to offer. And, a smaller percentage maybe ended up buying from me. But it's real interesting being an agent here. It's not just selling property. You have to sell the community, the lifestyle, and then the property happens later.
Canyon Lake sells itself, but.
So you said kind of floor times, how you got started.
Absolutely, floor time. So today, what is floor time? Does it exist?
That was what I was going to ask. What is the new floor time? Like 2016, when I got my license, I would sit open houses for Craig every single weekend. Got my first client that I still work with to this day from open houses. My first, I think, 3 or 4 deals.
I'd say the new floor time is listings, right? Because back in the day, floor time was any agent anywhere can sell a listing, right? Well, with the emergence of the internet, all these listings are on the internet. You have Zillow. I mean, even in 2000, I don't even know when Zillow came around, but it was brand new back then. Zillow was just barely a tool. Consumers didn't have access to these listings. And so they had to go in and find a local realtor. But now being a listing agent is going to snowball into having buyers calling you to look at this property.
That's right.
Or this community, and it's changed in that regard because floor time is non-existent. No one sits floor time. No one's walking in anymore.
Most people don't have an office.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the big push for Link is being remote, right? And so now it's if you have listings, you're going to get your phone to ring with those. That is your new floor time is having listings.
But how do you get the listing? Open house, you're right.
Yeah, for
sure. This goes along with like Craig
branding.
And I always talk and joke. It's we're the kings of, or I'm the king of, do as I say, not as I do. In, again, almost 16 years, I've probably sat 10 open houses. Okay. So my bad. However, any new agents out there, new or veteran agents, sit open houses.
Andrew
that is the new floor time. Absolutely.
Andrew and I still sit open houses a few times a month when we have free days on Saturdays, on Sundays. And we had one in Venice last weekend, and we met a buyer who came in, really liked the property, doesn't have an agent. We're going to try to work with him. And I really think one of the easiest ways to get in front of ready buyers. They're going to trust you a little bit more. They're going to have the credibility already kind of built in, whether it's your listing or an agent on your team's listing, team being anybody at Link. And I think it's one of the easiest ways to get in front of people.
You're right. And I guess the main difference between, let's go back to floor time days and open house, is floor time days, somebody just cruising around with nothing better to do, didn't really wander into the real estate office, where open houses, you do have to feel through the curious neighbors. And the people
if they walked in, they're more serious.
If they walked in the office, they really wanted to go see a property or see what Canyon Lake was about, and maybe that turned into a property. But regardless, that option isn't there anymore. And open house, grassroots, been around forever. Call it the new floor time. Even though it's an old concept, it probably is the best way to meet people, because social media, they just see whatever you want them to see. At the open house, they meet the person, they see the person, they can have a conversation with the person. So I completely agree with it.
I think it all kind of ties together, because branding. I mean, you mentioned being yourself and not trying to be somebody you're not. So if you are a suit and tie wearing person, that's big for Mike Ferry and Mike Ferry's style. You have different coaching styles. You have different communities. If you're in LA, you're probably wearing a suit. If you're in San Diego, you're probably not. If you're in Canyon Lake, for sure you're not. And so
I used to wear a suit in Canyon Lake.
I did too. I actually,
you look fabulous.
I was also 18, so I felt like I had to put that on too.
When I was young, I started out wearing not necessarily a suit, but definitely slacks and a tie, because of Mike Ferry. I cut my teeth with Mike Ferry. He was very professional, show up as a professional. And that it's since changed when I got, my feet under me. So I wasn't faking it by any means, but I definitely had a different outward portrayal than I do now.
Right.
And so back to branding though. So branding is a big deal. And so when it comes to you, obviously you are into old cars, right? You have your own car club. A little shout out to the 13 Saints.
That's right.
Right. And you're into boats, big boats, go fast boats. You mentioned Havasu. You're into Havasu. Right. So to talk a little bit about that, about branding, how you approach that, what image you want to portray, and take it on.
Yeah, I'm horrible at it. Absolutely. I'm horrible at it because I set up a brand, Canyon Lake Dave. Okay. I figured, this is going to be my farm and catchy name, so let's jump right out of the gate with something like that, and that hasn't hurt. I hear it, see it all the time. People, hey, Canyon Lake Dave. I'm like, but I'm not there. Cool. My hobbies. I'm in the old Harleys, old cars, and in the club and all that, like you said. But where I'm horrible is I don't go out and try to sell myself. Okay, if I let them know, hey, I'm available, and I probably should do a better job at that, amongst my social crowd or whatever. But I've never, ever been that type of salesperson. Okay. I'm easy to approach. I hope you know what I do for a living, and my fault if you don't. And if you want to talk real estate, I'm there for you. If you want to talk motors, let's do it. As far as that goes.
Or boat drives.
No, you're absolutely right, though. Branding, very important. Whether you have a catchy name or whatever it might be, branding is very important. And I hope these agents can do a better job than I have at follow through.
Well, with that, and I think the most painful thing is to have a close friend or even an acquaintance use somebody else, right? And when you look at that, okay, fine, shame on me for some reason. And so I know we've all been in that situation, but touch on that a little bit about really not pushing that image, but ensuring or how do you get it out into your network without being salesy?
Exactly. Yeah. Good question. How do you do that?
Yeah. I don't know. Answer it. I'm serious.
Probably the hardest part emotionally of this career is exactly like you said, Craig, is when a friend or a family member uses somebody else There's nothing more devastating.
Yeah.
Okay. And it'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay. It happens to the best of us. And someone who you think is your best friend, I can give you scenario after scenario when it's happened to me. And you're like, you really, check in on yourself. Like, what could I have done better?
Yeah.
So at one point I had a friend, I sold him maybe 4 properties at the time. And one of the houses I sold him all of a sudden comes on the market. And I saw this guy twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it wasn't a distant friend. And he had never told me he was going to be selling his house. All of a sudden, house comes on the market. It's actually a very well-known agent. And I said, okay, well, I kind of get it, but he didn't know him. Why would you choose that guy? You don't know that guy. Good agent, but you don't know that guy. I called this person. I said, hey, I'm not here to call you out, but to better myself, tell me why you chose so-and-so. And this person had a really good answer. And to this day, I don't fault him. You know what he said? He said, I am really good friends with about 6 agents, which he was. We all kind of hung out with this guy. Because how do I choose one without upsetting that person? He did choose a very good agent, and life moved on. All we want's an explanation. So the same scenario, had he chose another friend, there would have been 5 of us really upset. Now there were 6 of us upset. No, but truthfully, how can I blame the guy?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, it will happen. Okay, you don't get 100% of the people to do business with you, unfortunately. All you can do is better yourself, ensure them that you are the best person for the job, and hopefully they see that. That's all you can do. And then when you don't win all of them, you move on to the next one.
And that goes back to, you mentioned it earlier, is do as I say, not as I do, because all of us have that shortfall when it comes to knowing what we should do and then actually not doing it, right? When it comes to your sphere of influence, there are touch points. There are almost like grades to your sphere of influence. And those A-type friends are going to use you, going to refer you, or so you hope. And then you have your acquaintances, just lower down that they may use, you may not, but ultimately taking care of that sphere, right? I mean, are you checking in monthly with things of value, gifts, popping by just to say, hey man, we just a reminder, I've been in real estate. Do you have any friends or family, or just that quick little phone call? Right. I just want to say hi and just, hey man, do you have anybody looking for real estate? Nope. Cool. Have a good one. Do you ever approach it like that and ask for business, or are you just kind of out there cruising?
Yeah, I never ask for business. So maybe by fault, not my style.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty decent at follow-up, follow-through, continuing a relationship. And it's certain little reminders. Maybe it's me driving another client around the community, reminds me of a house I sold somebody, haven't talked to that person for a while, mental note, get back to the office, contact that person. Hey, just seeing how you're going. I don't come out and say, hey, I see you have a whole bunch of equity now. Let's make that work for you. Again, that's not my style. My style is, hey, how you doing, Craig? Remember me, or whatever I might say, and hope you're doing well. I drove by the house. It looks awesome. Something like that. Yeah. To me, I think is more effective. And the way it's more effective is I react way better to the person who's not the heavy-handed salesperson. I see right through that. Yeah. I don't care what I'm buying. Yeah. Okay. If someone's just back to commission check, if all I feel they care about is their selves, I am going to ignore them. Yeah. I might even go to somebody else because I don't like that person. I don't like the auctioneer who all he cares about is himself. And let's get it done and move it to the next one. And keep going, volume and this and that. But if it's like, if I had somebody come by and, hey, Dave, man, that yard looks great. I remember when it looked horrible when you bought the house, and just wanted to say hi. Be like, I'm thinking about selling. I'm going to call Craig and see what's going on over there. So I do follow through with clients, but not with a heavy hand. And again, that goes back to what's your style? What are you yourself? What type of salesperson are you? Are you becoming? Again, that technique might work great for some people. I can't do it. If I had to do that, it wouldn't be me, and it wouldn't last. I couldn't carry on very long with that type of technique.
Yeah, and one of the things you just put out, it's been about a year now, but your billboard out front, one of my favorite ads I've ever seen. Yeah, and I liked it so much I wanted to copy it, but I couldn't, because it was individual to you, your idea.
But at first you were unsure.
No,
Like-
I
like
actually
everybody.
I took a picture just like that,
Yeah,
and like
right.
I actually wanted to follow suit, but it was
Sure.
too original. It was cool in my mind. It was like it was
It was Dave.
it was a little punk rock. Back to your Singer days.
We should talk about advertising.
Talk about it.
Because I'm a firm believer. Part of my previous career, I got heavily involved with the marketing and advertising of my own company. That was not only developing products, but that was my forte, let's say. And so I learned a little. And again, a lot of it's opinion. Let's see what the reaction or the actions are going to be thereafter. So I've had a billboard up there about 10 years, on and off. And I remember the first time I had a billboard up there, I'm sitting in the restaurant going, yeah, any moment now my friends are going to call me for making fun of me, and all that. Not one phone call, not one mention, virtually a decade of a billboard, electronic sign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like mini Vegas type sign we're talking about here. And so anyways, fast forward, change again, come over to link with you guys, talking about doing a billboard. Been probably a couple years at that point since I had one. And I had this idea, and it's okay. It's not life-changing idea, just completely different for our marketplace, especially our area.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have had dozens of people comment on this so far. Not everybody loves it, but it's working.
Because it's going
Talking
to
about
talk
it.
to you.
You comment on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come to me and go, yeah, I saw your billboard. Not so sure about that. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That
It's,
means
it's
it did
doing its job.
Yeah, now I'm going to do 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's way better than you holding your poodle.
Well, exactly. And
Yeah.
back to holding the poodle, whatever it might be. Okay, well, you're just like the other guy holding something and smiling. Like remember that guy who wore the suit and had the thing like this?
Kobe?
Oh, it's Kobe. That's right.
It was my senior picture for high school. It's the only picture I had with a suit on.
awesome.
Yeah, that was, and he still gets shit for it.
No, but seriously.
That business card is still up.
No, I think it was this.
It was.
Oh my gosh, it was so
2?
bad.
It was 2.
Yeah.
And it was for my senior year pictures for the yearbook.
Yeah, you
it was
should
the only
never
picture I had.
I still have
with
it
a
on my
suit.
phone. I
We
will
need to do
always
a billboard of it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
we should.
Just for our fun.
We should. Yeah, we should. But advertising, it's easy to be different. It's hard to be different and accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And you find that combination in any kind of advertising, right? And you win.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's accepted, but it's different. It's not offensive what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's not
It's
offensive.
a close up.
Close up of his eyes, and Dave has really beautiful eyes.
No, but it's just very different for our industry.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to go. I didn't
Yeah.
want to just be another face up there going, hey, check me out. I'll sell you a house. And
Mm-hmm.
and keep watching. There's 30 other agents that'll
Yeah.
do the same thing right after me.
Yeah. Well, no one else has done that one. It's pretty badass.
Right. And what
yeah.
good is that?
Yeah.
So again, any kind of advertising we're talking about, different, be noticed, whatever that is, be yourself, whatever that is. And actually that picture is just a very casual picture.
Yeah.
And just, I'm just kind of sitting there going, hey, And
But
it
intentional. I mean, it was
Exactly.
it was intentional. Photo, and it's pretty cool. Cool idea. I like that one.
I think to kind of touch on that, like now more than ever as well with social media, with Meta ads, with Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever it is, you're trying to capture somebody's attention in about 0.5 seconds, a second. So like when we're meeting with agents and talking about what should your ad, what should be in your ad, what should be in your brand, I think more important than ever is who you are, can you get across to a potential seller or buyer who you are in half of a second?
That's right.
If you can't or get the value prop across within half of a second or why they should click on this ad, someone's going to scroll right by it and it's just going to blend in with all the other agents that are posting the same Meta ads or same Google ads and the same, hey, welcome to 123 Test Street, which isn't bad in itself and it's better than doing nothing, but being able to really differentiate yourself, I think is super important, and finding who you are, who your core is, so that someone goes, oh, I remember Dave. And if they see that billboard or see you at an open house that you never do, or a social media post, they can tie it all together versus,
Well, it's less is more.
Yeah.
And that type of advertising, like you said, you have half a second to grab their attention. Don't put on there everything you do, where you're from, your phone number, your website, and your mother's maiden name. No one's going to remember any of it. Do something that's going to grab their attention, and here you go. And maybe you have a chance of them looking further, or clicking, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and you've used that same photo on your socials, and whenever I see it, I'm like, yeah, it's
safe.
I look at it. It's cool.
And not everybody has to like it, but guess what? They're talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. What else,
we
man?
do, guys?
We got time. We got plenty of time.
We can keep going, but shit, man, we're gonna have to turn this into 17 episodes. I'm gonna have to renew the season, Craig.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can cut out the
I'm
downtime.
watching the Charlie Sheen documentary. He got $2 million an episode at the end.
$2 million what? Dollars or
$2
views?
million an episode at the end of 2.5 Men.
Wow.
So I think we need to start negotiating if we go any longer. We're going with
We
it.
should do
We're gonna negotiate with Greg.
2.5 men.
Yeah.
We got it right
There
here.
we go.
Here's our half man.
Why am I the half man?
I was going to go that way, but that didn't make any sense because you are the half.
That's actually really funny.
Would you recommend? So we have a ton of new agents coming in to Link,
You do.
and
Good.
some people are coming in half-time and they're a nurse, or they're coming in half-time because you're still going to school, or some people are just jumping in full-time. Would you recommend, A, to get into real estate knowing everything you know, and B, what would your first 90 days be for a brand new agent who's coming into the industry?
I would recommend getting into real estate with realistic expectations, not what the TV shows or whatever shows you and all that. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Dave. Good to meet you. What do you do for a living? I do real estate. Oh, God, easy money. Yeah, you're a guy who's never spent a day in my shoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So real estate, awesome industry. If you have the thickest skin on earth, and if you can take a beating every day for that,
You're really selling it.
for that coincidental paycheck that we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, get into it. Now the benefits are immense.
Yeah.
You have to withstand the trial period, which is from 60 to 90 years. No. Yeah. So if I were to be a new real estate agent right now and jump into it, it's hard for me to immediately answer that because I don't know everything like you guys know. Unfortunately, that's my handicap is I haven't exercised that. Okay. To me, Facebook is still like high tech, man. Like, whoa, they even put this on a phone now.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, like we touched, I think the thing to do is beg every agent you know within Link, hey, can I sit your open house? That's the new floor time. Okay. Because back when I did it, like we talked about, floor time's how I got clients that I still have today, almost 16 years later. So if that's your new floor time, sit some open houses. The vet agents, they don't want to sit their open houses typically. Okay, like I do. Anybody out there, when I have listings, hit me up. I'll be happy to let you sit them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is really what I'd recommend. Do as I say, not as I do. I don't sit them. That's for just a selfish reason. I should sit them. If I wanted to, as an agent for all these years, if I wanted to increase my business over the next 6 months or a year, I'd be sitting open houses more than I would be flooding social media.
Yeah.
That's important. But you're competing with millions of other people hoping to get a chance to have one person do some business with you. You sit this open house a weekend, you actually probably have a pretty decent chance of meeting somebody who is ready to make a move, buy, sell, rent real estate. So yeah, absolutely. That is what I would do.
And I think one of the best parts about open house is I think you mentioned it earlier, the face-to-face time.
Absolutely.
It's not, you're trying to
it's like this.
get their attention in 0.5 seconds or 1 second, going back to the social media side.
Right.
It gives you a chance to really showcase your local knowledge. It gives you a chance to have your personable skills come across and
That's right.
show who you are and how you can help that person. And you might have 5 or 10 minutes with them walking through your house face-to-face, which everybody tries to get on social media, and it's impossible.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. How do you get that attention on social media when there's everybody else? But no matter who you are, even if you don't have a social media account, which everyone does, but even if you don't, let's just say you're that person, you're new, this is a second or third career, whatever your scenario might be, sitting in open house, you get face time with these people. Very important.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I think you also mentioned social media being a part of it. We always recommend doing some paid lead gen, doing some cold outreach, doing some open houses, testing the waters, doing it all for a year, 6 months, whatever it is, to see what you like and what you don't like. And the person who has an unlimited budget and could run a crazy amount of lead gen, great. And they're going to be able to build a career off that. But if you want to get started with in essence, free way to get in front of people, it's going to be your sphere of influence. It's going to be open houses. It's going to be working with other Link agents or other agents in the area.
Cold calling.
Exactly.
Door knocking.
Who wants to do that?
But
People.
ROI,
People do.
No, but you're
ROI is, I'd say the best ROI you have is cold calling and door knocking, especially if you have an open house, right? So if you have your farm
That's right.
or a house in your farm,
Mm-hmm.
the easiest way to cold call or door knock without getting hung up on or the door shut in your face is an invitation, right? Hey, I'm sitting in the house down at 123 Main Street. I want to send you guys an invite. Here is a little brochure about the property, and we're having a little drawing or a game.
Yeah.
If you show up, awesome. If not, just want to say hi and then give you the invite, right?
Totally
No one's pissed off at you, right?
What would you do? Like a mile radius, or what would you do?
Depends on how busy you want to be, right? Go
Pretty
as big as you have time for. If your open house is next week, sure, you can do an easy text campaign. Kobe can set that up for you in GHL. You can do an email campaign, kind of the same thing. Send that to the 500 homes around you, 1,000 homes around you. Right. And if you are cold calling or door knocking, 30 to 50. Right. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be elaborate, but definitely face to face. Having conversations is what our business is all about.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if it's cold or warm. Conversations is the name of the game. Contacts, conversations, those translate into deals. And so as hard as it is to cold call and no one wants, you hear that, no one wants to receive cold calls.
No.
And no one wants to cold call.
Right.
But if it's semi-warm with an invitation, a little different,
Yeah, I agree. If you can be that person and you're comfortable doing that, you're going to get hung up on 90% of the time.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
Yep.
Again, you're only looking
But that 1%. So you're saying there's a chance.
You're only looking for one.
Only looking for one.
You're only looking for one more deal.
Yeah.
To touch kind of on what you were saying about you're reaching out to somebody with an invitation or with something instead of just a cold call or cold outreach. Another one that I saw recently, and it was another agent kind of talking about it. And if he's trying to break into a new area, he'll go find a buyer at an open house, and he'll use that buyer as kind of leverage to reach out to the other owners in an area and say, hey, I have a private client. They don't like anything on the market right now. And he'll send an email or a text to start just so it's a little less invasive. Private client, off market. They don't like anything that's on the market right now. Would you ever consider selling? If not, no worries at all. I just want you to have my information.
That's right.
It shows that you're going above and beyond for your client. You're going above and beyond for a buyer. You're not just doing the typical, look at what's on the market.
Agreed.
You could pick up that buyer
Anybody could do that.
from an open house. So you can go sit open house in an area, invite all of the neighbors.
Right.
After you invite all the neighbors, you sit the open house, you find a potential buyer, reach out to all those neighbors and say, hey, we had a really successful open house. We actually had 5 or 6 buyers come in. They hate everything on the market. Right. I know I invited you over to it, but would you ever consider selling? It's like a really free and easy way to get in contact with a neighbor. Yeah. They're going to then think you're the area expert. You're going above and beyond for all your clients.
That's right.
And then also agents that have been using that for years as a sales pitch and not having a buyer.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
I would not do that because
Thank you.
When they ask to see your buyer and ask for the offer, you don't want to walk in and say, oh, well, he's going to be in really, really low. And
he's in Philadelphia now.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it. Yeah, exactly.
I think people will see right through that. And to touch on it earlier when you said, don't even expect a commission check.
Have integrity.
We've gone in there before and just said, hey, we'll connect you too. And if you guys need help, let me know. Sure. If not, and then I step out of the way.
That's
and 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back and be like, oh, well, we'll pay you to help with this and whatnot. But I'd rather get the repeat business. I'd rather get the referral, have my name out there in a good light than
have them remember you for
have
good reason.
A seller who knows all of his neighbors, obviously, and who is going to talk, say, oh, this shitty agent just try to lie to me and try to bring a fake buyer to get a listing. Yeah. We have clients who have had agents do that to them, and they see right through it and end up hating that person. So
absolutely.
Do not do that.
Especially in a small town. I mean, your name is more important in my mind than anything. So back to your brand, your persona, no commission check's more important than your name.
That's right.
And that goes across not only buyers and sellers, but other agents in your market, right? You want to have a pool of friends in your market. You don't want to, come out with a bad name because that goes through pretty quick, like a wildfire through the industry. If you're shady, have your friends in this industry, have your colleagues, use them as a resource. Again, this is a small community, and you want to just have a good name throughout. Especially if you have an idea of a long career, do things the right way on both buyer, seller, and agent side. You're not in this business to win, right? If Dave and I have a deal, or me and Kobe, or any agent that's not even affiliated with Link, you want to have that camaraderie where I know if agent A is bringing me an offer versus Dave. I know who I'm working with. I know how Dave's going to react. I know that agent A may be a little suspect or shady or, lie on the way in about contingencies or having a buyer non-contingent when he is contingent. And if that agent's burned me in the past, I'm looking at that deal a little closer. Whereas the agent that's upfront and honest, I know going in, he's going to tell me that upfront what's going on, right? So be that agent, have integrity, and just have those relationships across the board.
That is the most important word of this industry, integrity.
Yeah.
Too many agents have zero integrity.
Yeah.
Back to that. Not to keep beating this subject, but back to keep integrity. The paycheck will happen and take care of your client.
Well, yeah, and that goes for if it's a long-term play, because you might have a sale today. You might talk them out of having a sale today, but they're going to say, hey, man, this guy, he steered me straight, right? And from there, now you're going to get a referral from Aunt Sue, right? Whatever the case may be, their friend. They're going to tell somebody else, like, hey, man, he's a straight shooter. You want honest advice? Give him a try, give him a shout, right? So,
Greg, I have talked myself out of a commission check more times than I'm proud of.
Yeah.
However, I can sleep well at night.
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
not only that, it's going to come full circle, because when they do decide to sell, it's coming back to you.
Now, I've also done this. Walk into a house. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, what do you think of this piece of crap?
Yeah.
I'm like, God, who would want to live here? We love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Learn that there's a seat for everyone, and what you like is not what everyone likes. So,
Hardest part's to keep your mouth shut.
yeah. Ask questions, don't give answers.
But we're going to keep going on here. You want to present facts.
Yeah.
As a professional,
not opinion.
You might see things they are not going to see. Something could be dangerous or costly. So part of our job when you're showing or taking care of a seller, you want to point out these things.
For sure. Yeah.
Why is the kitchen floor slanted?
Exactly. It's not for drainage.
Inside, interior. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I agree. I do agree that what your style is not everyone's style, and what you think that you would buy may not be what your buyer is looking for, right? And so, yes, facts. Yes, point out your expertise, but then again, be cautious of letting your opinion sway the buyer. But
sorry, I'm having a pool emergency.
Oh shit!
Apparently.
Well, that's Dave.
Well, that's it.
Thanks, Dave.
Welcome to real estate.
Go take care of your pool.
All right, everybody.
Yeah. Right
Sorry
on.
about that.
Yeah, no, you're good,
When
buddy.
the
Appreciate
pool
it.
guy is calling you and FaceTiming you. Something's
Something's wrong. All right, handle it. All right. Thank you, Dave, for coming out.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you
All
guys.
right,
Appreciate
cool.
it.
See you.